Hello there, my name is Ismas and welcome to Top Channel 101. So a few days ago I made a tutorial about a bug I found in Blender, but it turns out that it's not a bug, it's a feature. And the bug I'm talking about is that, or the feature I'm talking about is that if you have different materials like this, and you have other materials in your scene that are not attached to a user. So let's say we have this orange, green, and blue material, but let's say the blue material is not assigned to any material, to any object or any user. Let me make sure I call this, I name this appropriately so that you can easily see what I'm talking about. Call this green, and let this be orange. So the feature, or what I was thinking was a bug, it's not actually a bug, it's a feature. But if you didn't know about it, you would think it's a bug. So yeah, if this blue material is not assigned to any user and you save the project, save as, let me just save it on the desktop, and then close the application. If you open Blender again and open the project, you will notice that the blue material is no longer there in your materials. Because Blender will delete or remove any data that is not attached to any user. So I was told this wasn't a bug. It's actually a feature. If you don't want the material to be removed, you would have to, let me create a new material here. I'll call it again blue. Give it the blue material, the blue color. So if you want this material to be saved, even when it's not attached or assigned to any user, you have to click on this, I don't know, this icon here. So in previous versions of Blender, even in previous versions of 2.8, you will notice that there was a letter F here for for fake user. Now it has been changed to this icon here. So as you can see, if you hover it, you will see that it says save this data block even if it's not, it has no users. So if you kind of lock it like that and remove it, again save, it should come back regardless of whether it had a user or not. So let's see, you can see that it even has that F on it for fake user. So yeah, I guess but the thing is that you would have to know about this if you want to retain the materials that are not assigned to any object. And that's not only limited to materials. Let's say you have a particle system. So let's add a particle system here. I'll duplicate these a few times, 3 times, like what we had for the material. So let's say you had a particle system. So let's call this orange, and let's give it, let me bring up the timeline here, because this, let me bring up the timeline before I talk about this. Where's the timeline? And see, this is our particle system. We will let it the particles fall down, and for the second particle system, why can't I select anything else here? Okay, why am I not able to select anything else here? So if we had another particle system here, and let's say for this, let's give them a normal velocity of 50, so that we can have them different. Maybe let's just give a velocity of 1 and just remove the gravity so that they go up, so that we can see that they are different from this. This particle system is different from this. And I don't know if this is a bug because I'm not able to select this. Okay, so for this let's give it let's see, let's give it a rotation. Let's see if this would work. Let's use voids instead of so you can see these three different particle systems. So let me rename them. Let me call this again green, and this blue. If you look at the first materials, this here, it doesn't say save material. It says data block, and this is also the particle systems here are also data blocks. So wait, particle settings. So you can see we have all these data blocks are saved here. But let's say we don't have this particle system attached to any material, to any object or user data, and we save. Let's see if we can recover that. So select this, add a new particle system. You can see we no longer have that there because it's also a data block that is not attached to any user. And if you don't have this enabled, save this data block even if it doesn't have users, you will also lose that data. So yeah, I don't know how this is the default setting because what I was told is that if it wasn't done like this, the project's files would be too large, and because it would be saving the data, all the data that is not necessary, which kind of makes sense because you don't want a project file to be too big in GBs, because if you're working on a really large project with a lot of materials and you end up with a lot of materials that you're not using, you don't want the file to be too large because it will make Blender take too much time to load. And yeah, so but what I would think would be a better way to do it is that if you're about to close the project, on this prompt there should be a list of data blocks that you will lose because they don't have materials, they don't have users assigned to them, and maybe an icon to let you add fake users throughout on this exit prompt. So maybe you have all the materials. So we had the blue materials that wasn't assigned to a user, and the blue particle system that wasn't assigned to a user. So you'd have them listed here, and this fake button also there, not enabled, but it will ask you to either enable it or not enable it, so that you can select the data that you want to save. Otherwise, it's really easy to forget, because sometimes I always want to test out different materials and different particle systems before I apply them on the material. So I would tweak these materials. So I don't know why, I think this is also another bug. You can't, sometimes I'm not able to select immediately the different objects. So I would create a particle system like this, and then create another one like this, give it a few changes, but because I want to preview one particle system at a time and I don't want to have duplicates in my scene, I would only assign the one that I want to preview and just remove the other from the list here, and just switch between them over and over as I preview what I'm doing. And it's really, I have been using Blender for over 10 years, and I knew about the fake user, but I didn't really know what it does. I'm just getting away with this after finding out that my materials kind of disappeared. So yeah, that's an update. After that, it's not a bug, it's a feature. It's a feature, but yeah, it's easy to think that it's a bug because it kind of behaves like one. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching.